giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome back to the Special Chronicles podcast, where we're going to respect and voice to people with special needs through the media. I'm your host and founder of Special Chronicles, Daniel Smrokowski, and today I'm joined by someone who I first met on the bocce courts at the Special Olympics Illinois 2025 Summer Games. My coach that weekend, and our friend Austin, who is a recreation specialist at SEASPAR and a Special Olympics Illinois coach. Austin has an incredible story about discovering his passion for coaching, leaving college to pursue meaningful work, and finding his place at SEASPAR, supporting athletes with developmental disabilities. His journey is full of health, purpose, and the kind of inclusion we celebrate here at Special Chronicles. For full show notes, to stream more episodes on demand, and to subscribe to the Special Chronicles podcast, visit specialchronicles.com. You can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast app. And now, please put your virtual hands together as we dive into this conversation, and welcome Austin on Special Chronicles. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. Very excited to do this. I know we were talking about it last summer, so it's going to be happening.
Yeah, I know. It's good to have you on. And for, as I said in the intro, for our listeners, we first got connected last summer at the Summer Games when Juan and I were competing in bocce. And so for our new listeners, why don't you introduce yourself and share a little bit about how, even though I just shared it, but from your perspective, how we first met and what drew you to working with people with developmental disabilities.
Yeah, so I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. Went to high school, ended up going to University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss. Studying engineering and pre-med, and really thought that's where I was going to go in life. And then right when COVID happened, was kind of second guessing myself, didn't really know what I was doing. Ended up coming back home. Was just looking for a summer job. And found a camp counselor position at SEASPAR. Applied, not thinking anything of it, then did it. First 2 days, we're kind of just like survive and like very new to everything. But by that third day, I kind of realized I love the field. Stayed with SEASPAR throughout the next year and a half, doing summer camp programs, special events, and then ended up becoming the recreation specialist last January in 2025, which kind of opened me up to everything that we're doing now.
Awesome. So we both know what SEASPAR is, but as you probably know, we have listeners across the country, across the globe. So for any listeners who might not know what SEASPAR is, can you give our listeners just a little bit of the programs and what SEASPAR offers us?
Yeah, so SEASPAR is a special recreation association, and these, we refer to them as SRAs, and they only exist in the state of Illinois, which a law was passed back in, I believe, the 60s. Not a historian, so don't quote me on it, but basically allowing these agencies to exist among multiple different park districts and towns, and able to provide services to those residents for anybody with a diagnosed disability, whether it's cognitive, physical. We serve it all. And SEASPAR has existed now. It's going to be 50 years next month, which is kind of crazy to think about. And what we do offer is kind of weekly programs. So it might be something like going bowling, going out to eat, doing a fitness class, kind of different adventures where you may go see a movie one week, may go play bocce like we were talking about. We offer that. We offer Special Olympic sports, special events, which kind of are one event per season that might be like a field trip somewhere or a show, plays. Then we do summer camps as well for kids up until age 22 for teens and adults. And then we have an adult day program. So that's kind of like 9 to 3, kind of like school hours for anybody that finishes transition, which is the 4 years after high school, that anybody that's in the special education category will feed into after high school. And so we have that day program as well. And then like I said, we do Special Olympic sports. And another thing that I just recently been working in is power soccer. We actually just had a tournament this past weekend in St. Louis. First time I ever did it, so that was really cool to see.
Awesome. So now, as we dive into more of your story, when did you first hear about Special Olympics, and can you share a little bit more about what made you want to become a coach?
Yeah, so the first time I actually ever heard about Special Olympics is back in high school. I played hockey throughout my childhood and high school, and in high school we had a group outing where we went to go to a Special Olympic bowling event. I might have been a regional of when the timeline fit, looking back at what I know now. But we volunteered there. That was my first time ever working with SO. I did a 5K color run down in Chicago during high school as well, and then kind of had a break between college. Then really got reintroduced to it and more of the actually understand it when I joined SEASPAR. And kind of right away, I kind of knew it was a really good fit for me just from playing sports and watching it and always being around it my whole life. And then that passion too of working in special recreation and therapeutic recreation. It was just kind of that like fit really well together. And I started coaching sports that I never knew I enjoyed, like bowling. I started being coach for them and never bowled my whole life, but got really into it. Same thing with bocce. It's not something I really ever played outside a few times. And then I started coaching it, started loving it, got really into it. So it was just that kind of passion for sports and the community that just kind of fit really well.
Awesome. And you mentioned at the beginning about leaving college to come to SEASPAR and coaching. Share a little bit more about the moment that you realized that college wasn't the right path, and what gave you the courage to make that life change from leaving college to then coming to SEASPAR and then coaching the Special Olympics.
Yeah, I think it was sometime probably in the fall of 2020 when we were kind of right in the middle of the COVID pandemic. And it could have been a factor of doing online classes and not really being able to go out, being cooped up in home like everybody was at that time of our lives. But I just kind of realized that what I was studying I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning about it. I still find it intriguing and interesting in terms of engineering. But I realized it's not something I want to do, not something I want to go, spend 8 hours every day of my life for the next 40 years doing. And it was a similar thing with pre-med earlier in my college career. Realized I did not love it. And if I didn't love it, I was never going to make it through medical school. So it was kind of same thing kind of happened with engineering. So it was a tough decision to come back home and kind of, saying, college, you were supposed to accelerate your life to go to the next step or accelerate everything to go to the next step of your life in terms of a career. So it was kind of discouraging when having to come back home and being like, don't really know what I love to do. I know it's somewhere out there. It was just kind of that always knowing that it's going to get better, and then having a really good support system back home with my parents and family and friends. It's that made it all the biggest difference. Didn't have them, definitely would not be here now. But then just kind of started doing some odd jobs when I came back home. I figured if I'm at least not going to figure out what I like, figure out what I don't like, so I know not to do that again.
Yeah.
And then that kind of propelled me doing different things, like working at a golf course, doing DoorDash, driving for a little bit, just kind of doing different things. And then eventually just finding SEASPAR and realizing this is something I want to go do every day. It's not like I wake up and saying, oh, I have to go do this. It's no, I get to go do this and get to do something really incredible, and it's not common. And so having that feeling of being able to wake up every day and go to something I enjoy, and it doesn't feel like a hassle to do, was kind of what triggered me to say, like, hey, this is where I'm supposed to be, even though it's not, you might have planned 5 years ago, but sometimes it works out that way.
Awesome. Now, as we dive into you finding SEASPAR, as you just kind of teed us up a little bit, share a little bit more about how you discovered SEASPAR, and then a little bit about what your role as a recreation specialist looks like.
Yeah, so discovering SEASPAR was completely random. I wish it was more like a fairy tale story, but it was just pure luck. Sometimes that's all you need. It's just get lucky once. I was applying for jobs at like Walmart, at like TJ Maxx, Target. It was really just boring, like jobs that just go get a paycheck, go do something. And actually, it was my mom that found it, and she was a teacher for 34 years. So she kind of knew I was always going to enjoy the social field of being able to give back in terms of special recreation, similar to teaching in terms of you're helping community, just different area. And we do more fun stuff. We're not teaching you guys math and reading. We get to go do fun really cool things. So I think it's better. But so that was random. And I applied and wasn't hearing back from any of these other jobs. Heard back from SEASPAR, interviewed, got in as the camp counselor. And they put me in a really great position where I was with 5 other counselors that have been doing this for some years now and been in the field. So I was able to kind of just fill in and learn from them, kind of just see how they do it, and not have them have to hold my hand the whole way. And like I think I said it a little bit ago, but first 2 days I was kind of like, okay, I just try not to mess up. Let's just try to get through the day with no accidents, no issues. Then that third day is where I realized, like, seeing the joy in all the participants, campers, and how much they get along together and enjoy seeing us every day. That's kind of when it snapped. And then I mentioned that I started as the recreation specialist last January. So it's been just over a year now. Basically, my role as a recreation specialist is I spend half my time in the office for SEASPAR, then half my time in programs. So in the office, I handle things such as intakes for new families that join SEASPAR. I set up a meeting with them, whether it's call, Zoom, sometimes in person, and kind of explain what SEASPAR is, what we offer, learn about our new participant, and kind of try to match them into the right spot, and kind of set everything up and show how we're here to support them and kind of help them grow. So that's one thing I do. I do assist in help planning and coordinating some of our weekly programs and events. And then on the program side of it is I'll help lead a lot of our programs that we do, whether it's our weekly programs, Special Olympic sports we do. Mentioned that we have a power soccer, which is, if anyone's ever played Rocket League, it's kind of like real life Rocket League. It's these power wheelchairs, and they have gates in the front of them, and a giant soccer ball, and you hit it around in this post on each end on basically a basketball court, and you play soccer in it, and it's really cool. I'm terrible at it, but it's a lot of fun to be around. So I've loved this position just because it's shown me the whole field of special recreation, and I've got to go do a lot of cool things, go to different camps, out of sleepaway camps, go to the summer games, go to the power soccer tournament. I've been loving it since I've been in it.
Awesome. And take us back to some of your early impressions and first experiences with SEASPAR and in this world, since you said that you didn't know that much, you didn't have an experience before when you left college and then coming to SEASPAR. So what were some of those first early impressions like?
It was definitely nerve-wracking, anxiety, because the realization of, hey, you're going to be responsible for our participants and our campers. And so it's that real life, hey, like, you got to be responsible. You got to be on your P's and Q's and know what you're doing. So you better pay attention to when someone's talking or someone's trying to explain something to you. So that was the first time, or first kind of couple days of just like, hey, it's real, you're here. But then after that, it was that kind of snap of seeing not having to be nervous that I'm capable of doing it. It's okay, I know I can do this well, so let's find ways to grow and really contribute instead of just trying to survive. And it was that kind of flip. Day 3, I want to say, we're just like seeing it and be like, okay, this is really cool, let's go have some fun with them and make them have a great day.
Awesome. Let's now dive into coaching at the 2025 Summer Games, where you coached me and Juan from a team in bocce. Share now some of your favorite memories from that weekend when you first got connected with both Juan and myself, and then going to give us some highlights and favorite memories from that weekend.
Yes. So I actually remember meeting Ron before I met you. I met him through a bowling program at SEASPAR. And he was a bundle of joy then. He's still a bundle of joy now. He calls my office every now and then just to come say hi, or just to say hi, see how I'm doing. So love Ron. I remember meeting you, I believe it was our last practice of bocce before summer games. You wanted to get some practice in with Ron. And that was nice that I got to meet you before actually doing this trip with you and being 2 hours away from home. But then getting to summer games, that was almost like a fever dream and didn't feel real for a little bit of, okay, I did regional bowling tournament with the SEASPAR, and like that was cool seeing everybody, but that compared to state summer games, the state tournament was night and day of just the size, everything going on. I was like in awe the whole weekend. I mean, the coolest thing for me was definitely the ceremony opening night. Just seeing everybody there, the stands at Illinois State at the football field packed with all these supporters, and then all the thousands of athletes coming through on the field. All these different people from different fields and the fire department, the police department down there, everybody just kind of cheering at all the athletes on. I was just lucky to be a witness and a bystander there, but to be able to be a coach as well and kind of be behind you guys and seeing the joy and just kind of all of that was really just like breathtaking. I wish there was a better way to describe it. Just seeing it all for the first time and everyone there. And then they did that drone show. They did the torch run. And it was just everything together that night. I was just like, okay, this is like I see the, like, I understand now of like why this is so special and very means a lot to a lot of people. And then, I mean, that was awesome, and just getting down there was a success. But then seeing you guys compete was awesome. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the doubles tournament because of the heat. Let's knock on wood that it changes. Or actually, because Bocce moved back, so hopefully we don't.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but even still getting to do the singles in the morning with you guys was really cool.
Yeah.
And then going to go see our other athletes compete in different sports was just kind of just really unique moment, but glad I did, and I hope I get to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And since they're moving the state tournament for bocce, hopefully we won't have that issue with having extreme heat so as much fun as it was competing at bocce at the state summer games, maybe it might be a good side about moving that state tournament to a time that we won't have the issue with the heat. Share with us now a little bit about your coaching philosophy and what you love most about working with us athletes.
Yeah, so it was definitely a bit of a process to kind of figure out the way I want to coach. And I mentioned how I grew up playing sports and mainly hockey my whole life. And I've had coaches from all different angles of, very hard, tough coaches to very more what you say player coaches that kind of connect with you. And I believe that all kind of coaching styles can work, but you have to be committed to it 100%. So it was, okay, how do I want to coach? And it was kind of what I was most comfortable with was kind of coaching through the athlete, not just explaining it and say, okay, go do this, but figuring out how they operate and how they respond, what they respond well to, and what they kind of will be like, no, that just doesn't make sense to me. Because we all learn in our own different ways. Like for me, I have to be able to use my hands to go do it physically. If you write it like on a chalkboard or tell it to me verbally, it's in one ear out the other. So like I have to go do things. So it's almost that doing like a puzzle of figuring out, okay, how they respond well, and then being able to communicate that way. So it creates these connections between the coach and the athlete, and which is probably the best part. Seeing you guys succeed in the sports is really cool, but favorite part is just kind of creating that connection, learning, what you guys love doing, what you do on your free time. Like when I met you and you started telling me about this podcast, and I can tell how passionate you were about it and how much you love doing it. And then your parents are saying, we don't have anything to do with it. It's all him. And then, and then just seeing you like kind of get really into it, and then listening to some episodes, it's like, that's just kind of the best part, just getting to meet you guys and kind of learn what you guys love and just kind of your passions and just how much you really love doing it. And then kind of interacting with each other and supporting each other at these tournaments, whether you're on the same team or a different team, it doesn't really matter. It's just supporting everybody. We want everyone to have fun. So, I mean, it's awesome to see.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. Now, on the other side of coaching, you talked about what coaching means for us athletes, but now flipping it to more yourself, how has coaching shaped you? How has coaching us athletes, us Special Olympics athletes, shaped you and your on your life, and how has that helped to kind of shape you both with your job at SEASPAR and in your everyday life?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been very beneficial for me, and personally and professionally. Obviously, professionally, it gives me that, I gain that experience of coaching in Special Olympics where, down the road of whether I want to, move forward in the field, or maybe I want to, get a change of scenery, different part of the country, whether it's Special Olympics. You never know what's going to happen, but it just kind of gaining the experience always is beneficial, professional level, but it's the personal level that kind of means more to me. Professional side will play itself out as long as you work hard and you keep on showing up and committed. So that's never been, I'm never really concerned about that part, because I know I love the field and I'm 100% committed to it every day. So that will work itself out, whether sooner or later, it doesn't matter. But personally, it's kind of given me that confidence to be able to walk into a new sport and see new participants and a new setting and know that I belong there and that I can make a positive impact among the community. Like, for example, I started coaching cornhole this season for SEASPAR, and I've always played bags. We're from Illinois, so we call it bags. I know we're one of the only few states that do it, but it's something I've always played my whole life. Never a million years thought I'd be coaching it or know how to coach it, but it's a new challenge, and it's really cool to kind of learn, okay, what works with the participants, what don't. And then and like I said, the power soccer, driving down to St. Louis with these power chairs, and then something I've never done, but knowing, hey, we're here for the athletes, and win or lose, it's going to be a really cool experience, and we're going to all learn and gain something new from it. So let's go out and do it. That's been really the best part about it.
Awesome. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier about connecting with a Special Olympics athletes, whether it's myself or Juan or others, and learning about our passions and our accomplishments, not just on the field, but also outside of competing. And so there was a lot of, as I'm sure you probably have learned, just kind of in the community and in society overall, a lot of people misunderstand what we're able to do, or they only see the disability that we're diagnosed with. So what do you think people misunderstand about us athletes?
Yeah, and I think you kind of nailed it right there of what you guys really are capable of doing, and how much. Yeah, it's really that, just in the sense of, if you've never, and I understand it, where in the sense of if you've never been around an individual with disabilities, or really not even having to work with them, but just being around them, you really don't understand it. You can read about it in textbooks, you can learn about it in classes, and you might see movies about it. You might go watch Love on a Spectrum on Netflix, but you don't really understand how beautiful their minds work and how much they really can do things. It processes it in a different way. And all it is it's different. It's not, here, it's just a different way of doing things. And it's just understanding that and knowing, okay, they're going to get to the answer their own way, and what they know how doing. It might not be how we do it, but that doesn't matter. It's how their brain works. So it's, it's just really the biggest thing I can tell somebody is just have patience and just really have active listening when you're talking with them and interacting with anybody with disabilities, and just kind of pay attention and just immerse yourself into it, so you're not, and just let that kind of take you to where it goes. Don't, have a set expectation of where it's going to end up. Just let the path take you there, and it's going to work out well.
Awesome. And what does inclusion mean in your everyday work? I know inclusion is a big part in Special Olympics. It's a big part in SEASPAR of including us, not just in the sports that we play, but through the programs of SEASPAR and just including us in the community overall. So what does inclusion mean in the work that you do? every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's inclusion. It's for some people, it might be like a small kind of subfield of, diversity and, equality. But for us, it's kind of a huge umbrella of everything we do, where we actually have a saying where we're exclusively inclusive, which is obviously an oxymoron, but it's fun. And it is pretty true where it's, it doesn't matter what the activity is and what the participants, disabilities might be or the accommodations they may require, and what they're able to do or not able to do. Inclusion means bridging that gap to make sure that they're having as much fun as if I was doing it, or, Joe Schmo from the streets is doing it. It's bridging that gap, and it's always a different puzzle, but that's the fun part of it. And that's what we kind of love doing about it, is figuring out how it works. And, maybe for a really easy example for bowling is if we have a participant in a wheelchair, how do we get them to enjoy bowling as somebody who can throw it, and like Ron, who he whips that bowling ball. But it's so the answer is, they've created these ramps for individuals in wheelchairs to push it, and they can move the ramp to aim it. So it's, finding those different answers. And there's never one right answer, or there might be, but there's always different ways you can go about every situation. So, I mean, inclusion is just kind of being able to make sure everyone is able to have that same experience, regardless of their capability.
Awesome. Now, before we get to the closing segment, we got just a quick fun segment here with just a few fun type questions. And to begin this segment, share with your funnest coaching moment. Maybe it was with Ron and me and Bocce, or maybe it was a different coaching moment. But what was your funnest coaching memory?
Funnest coaching memory. I do have the funniest, and that was Ron waking me up at 5 something in the morning at some games for no reason, just wanted to wake me up. And I went to bed with wet hair the night before. And for those that aren't watching or listening to it, I do have some longer hair, so going to bed with wet hair, and it's thick too. It was standing straight up like a mohawk. It was a big mess. And so I woke up and just saw that, and it just instantly laughing. And I thought I was late to something, but I was just getting pranked. But the most fun I've had at coaching is honestly just, it's a cliche answer, but just seeing you guys compete, especially at the state level at the summer games, was really just a lot of fun. And it's like, I almost got lost into like, I'm not there as a coach or like as I'm working. I'm just there as a fan and like as a friend of the participant competing. So I mean, like, that was definitely just like the most fun, where I'm just cheering you guys on, and I'm like, it wasn't work. It was just, just a really cool experience that I was lucky to be a part of. There might be a better answer there right there, but it's I've done so much of this that it's just of coaching and being in this field that it all blends together. But every now and then it comes up again.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Now, if this next question here has to do with a mascot, and for people that are just listening to audio, then you can't see us, so you have to go watch the video episode on YouTube. But you see the SEASPAR Spelton's T-shirt that I'm wearing. So if SEASPAR had a mascot, which I guess this could be the mascot, but what would it be? Maybe it's the Cohen mascot, or maybe it's a different mascot. But what mascot?
So I guess technically it's Spartan, but that's not a fun answer. So let's go with something different outside of Spartan. selfishly, I want to say a bear, but that's because we're Chicago Bulls fans. But no, a good mascot for us. Oh, geez. I'm just looking through the animals right now. I was just talking about sea otters the other day, and I would love to do sea otters, but they're not fierce enough. They are adorable, though. Oh, gosh. This might be the toughest question you've given me. I can answer about all the technical stuff, but trying to create a new mascot, it's not my wheelhouse. No, it's I'll go with sea otter just because that's all I can think of on the spot.
Awesome.
One.
Yeah. No. That's a good one. Yeah. I think if we ever, the Spouton is a good mascot, but if maybe we should go to some animal mascot, so just to have a little bit more fun with it. As you know, with Special Olympics at the local state level is the state level is the local level, but then we've got the national level, which this June will be the USA Games up in Minnesota, but then the World Games every 4 years. I think the next one is 2027 in Santiago, Chile, I believe. And so, what would be your dream sport to coach at the World Games? You could say national games too, but we'll go with the World Games.
For World Games, in terms of just being able to do it, would probably be floor hockey. It's unfortunately we don't have it at SEASPAR at the moment, but it's something I would love to add and be able to, be lucky enough to coach. Just from playing hockey my whole life, so that's an easy answer for me. But another sport I would love to coach at, either obviously USA Games or World Games, I would love to do golf. Be able to, because with SO golf, the coaches are able to caddy for the players and the athletes, and I grew up caddying too. It was my first job I ever had, and enjoyed it. Get outside, gets moving every day, but just being able to caddy with the player and kind of at that level too, where it's either national and the national would be just kind of really cool. It would almost be like that PGA-esque, and I would think that would probably be my answer. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, okay, that's a number 2 answer. Yeah. Coaching you and Ron and Bocce at World Games would be number 1. But
would it be okay? Awesome. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to be Juan and I at Bocce with
but if that doesn't happen, then I guess golf.
If it doesn't happen, then you've got a backup. A few final questions as we near the end. I know that the time has flown by. Do you have advice for future Special Olympics coaches? Maybe there's somebody that's I'm listening who maybe they'll in college or maybe they'll looking to change their career or job and wanna either come to SEASPAR or want to become a Special Olympics coach. What advice will you have?
Yeah, and the really cool part about it, before I kind of give my advice, is you don't have to commit your whole career to it. It's, SEASPAR we have coaches that who do it part-time, and it's kind of their fun, and they enjoy it. And I think that's kind of, it feeds into my advice I'm going to give of, don't pursue the results, pursue the enjoyment of it. My favorite teacher I ever had in high school, her saying, and I heard it too many times, was pursue the learning, not the grade. And which means is, invest yourself into actually learning the material and what that means and how it impacts, instead of learning it just because you want to get an A. So it's the same thing for coaching. Invest yourself into growing the players and growing them as a team and individual as well. And the results will happen. It may not happen right away or as soon as you think, but if you prioritize the athletes and their enjoyment and learning new skills and finding the way to make learning new skills and doing something new and challenging, exciting and fun for them, you're gonna win. You're gonna win whether the scores in your favor or not. You're making a huge difference just for the athletes, because you're giving them that confidence to tackle new tasks and life, kind of anything that life may throw at them. They gain that confidence to say, hey, it's something new and challenging, but I've done it before, I can do it again.
Awesome. So how can people support SEASPAR? How can people support?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to, if someone's listening and they want to get involved with programs or whether it's sports or the day programs or the day camp, like even before I started competing in the Special Olympic sports, I think I was maybe 5 or 6, and I got involved with the day camp with SEASPAR, and then even in high school in some it's been quite a few years ago, so I think I was some of the other programs, but I've been involved with some of the other programs with SEASPAR too. So if somebody that's tuning in and they want to get involved.
Yeah, and so obviously, the kind of easy answer is, if you're looking to, work as a part-time or a volunteer, you can always apply. And I see that you have the video tagged or the website tagged. So that's awesome. If obviously donations, but I'm not going to ask for that, is one way obviously to support anyone. But I will also say you don't have to just support us. This is bigger than just SEASPAR of what we're doing. So, and that's the cool part about SRAs is I believe there's 36 of them in the state of Illinois. We all kind of work together wherever we're at. We're never kind of impeding on each other's territory. We all have the same goals to support our participants and our athletes. So it's, if it's not us, do it local in your community, wherever you may live or work or reside at the moment. I promise you there's somebody somewhere that is doing something similar to us in terms of supporting individuals with disabilities, and they would be more than happy to have extra pair of hands that really want to do it and make a difference. So all it takes is a quick Google search, and I'm sure you can find something in your local area.
Awesome. And if our listeners, if you're listening, whether you're listening in Illinois or across the country or across the road, you can find your local Special Olympics program at specialolympics.org and find your local program. Before we get to the final question, do you have any final thoughts on your overall time here today? I know we talked about you coming on since last summer, both at the summer games and then playing bocce. But what did you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't stumble upon my words as much as I thought I was going to. I'm definitely not a interview person, or I don't care about the spotlight being on me ever. I prefer kind of letting the other people get this glory. I think that's why I fit so well in the field, because it's all about the participants and athletes. I'm just there to make sure they're having fun and being safe. But no, I mean, I'm glad that we finally got to this. And I hope it kind of can make an impact on at least one person. If that happens, it's a success. And whether it's an athlete or a participant or somebody that wants to get into the field, just kind of seeing it different or just being able to know where to go. I'm glad we got to do this, and hopefully it just, helps us going forward.
Awesome. So we got one final question, which we talked about inclusion a little bit earlier, but we're gonna, because we want our listeners to listen, but even more than that, we want our listeners to learn from your story and to take inclusion and bring it back into their communities and into their workplaces, in schools and in society overall. So this final question will help to kind of get our listeners to kind of have that call to action to leave this podcast episode. And we've got a bumper, so let's go ahead and roll that bumper to introduce the final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
Equality.
Dignity, and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
More divided than ever.
and coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
Is inclusion. Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So, of us, it's like in the 2019 Special Olympics World Games, we've been asking this final question because, as I just said in the intro of this last segment, it helps to kind of give that call to action to our listeners to bring inclusion into their lives and into their communities and schools and workplaces. So what does inclusion mean to you?
I would say it definitely means making sure everyone is kind of at the same level and same, not being discouraged or being kind of alienated out. Everyone's involved, and whether it doesn't matter kind of their background, who they are, their personality, any extra combinations they made. It just means everyone can get together and kind of be same person, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. It's obviously what the sweet part about humans is that we're all different. As much as we may have the same interests or like the same food, it's kind of we're all unique and different, and just being able to embrace it, it's definitely kind of makes life easier. Just instead of trying to change things, it's being able to accept them. It's definitely makes and accept them for what they are. It's definitely kind of just makes everything easier in life. So it would be that.
Awesome. Well, that's a popular way to wrap up. Thank you again to Austin for coming on the Special Chronicles podcast, and hopefully we should. I know Coach Charmaine wants us to do some more podcasts around focusing around SEASPAR, and so maybe we'll have to figure out how we can make that happen. So thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. Glad we finally got to do it. Best of luck. It's been awesome what you've been doing. I can't wait to see it going forward. Thank
you. And that's our conversation with Austin, a coach who leads with heart, purpose, and a deep belief in every athlete, including myself, who he works with, from the Batu coach at the 2025 Summer Games to his work at SEASPAR. Austin's story reminds us how powerful it is when someone chooses inclusion as their life's work. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out the full show notes, stream more episodes on demand, and subscribe to the Special Chronicles podcast at specialchronicles.com, or you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast app. Thank you for listening, and let's keep telling the stories that matter, and we'll see you on the next episode next week, right here on specialchronicles.com. And remember, choose to include. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.